well.
And welcome to another exciting episode of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael, and I am joined tonight with a guest who, hold on a second, having a technical issue. There we go. I had to check on my phone to see that we were airing to a network, and I closed it, and apparently my phone didn't like how I closed it. So, apologize for the backbeat, but as I was saying, I am joined tonight with a guest who I am so excited to have on. We have tried numerous times to make our schedules connect, so tonight we finally made it happen. And he has so many interesting aspects that he's involved in that I am so excited to bring light to. So I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only, awesome, amazing Jay Skyrunner.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me on your show. And you have an awesome intro.
Thank you.
I like these shows, all these awesome intros. I don't know how to do that stuff yet. I'm pretty basic on my YouTube end. But yeah, anyone watching this? Yeah. So a lot of people will know me as Jay Skyrunner. That's what I go by on Facebook. I just find Jay Skyrunner suits me. Because we're not really the name. That was just a given name to us, right? So we don't have to associate ourselves as an identity by the given name to us, because we are the I am presence, not what society conditioned us to think what we are. So that's what my healing is based on, of trying to become self-realized, right? Not just being a product of the environment that we're brought up in. So that's a big part of my heal modality, is that. Like, I could talk about that forever. So we'll get on, we'll talk over a few things tonight, a lot of different things. Yeah, I only did a few podcasts so far, so I'm glad to be on this one. And Jay Skyrunner, if you look me up on YouTube, that's where I have my videos. I'm putting more videos out now, and I'm putting a lot of free healing on there, because since 2011, after learning Qigong, I become clairaudient, and I was channeling what I believe was the Pleiadians. I was writing in a book, and they were teaching me a healing method in 2010 11 that I believe is meant for now times, with the new energies that are coming in. So it's just hard getting it out there, right? I've been trying to get this out there for almost 20 years, you know what I mean? But yeah, and I teach Qigong too, so I still find that very powerful. So I'm going to be putting free stuff on my YouTube for people to come and learn. Plus, I've been doing some readings for people and healing sessions on there. And my mission is to teach people that we're not just humans stuck here, trapped, that we are the human 2.0 is what we're meant to become, because we are the ultimate DNA skin suit technology of the multiverse. We got to learn how to activate ourselves, because that's what I'm going to say, because we're into a savior program, you know what I mean? Either it's Jesus is coming to save us, or the aliens are coming to save us. They're helping us with the new energies coming in, but they're waiting for us. They're waiting for us to activate because we're the ones that are going to bring down the I'm going to say simulation. We'll get into that a little more later, but bring down this AI system once and for all. So with the new energies coming in, we're going to activate anyway. It's going to be hard for some people. That's why they have ascension symptoms. But if we can learn to harness that power now through certain things that I'll show people, and we're going to activate, like even Archangel Michael said, they're waiting for us. Like humans go where angels fear to tread. Like I like that saying, because no one else wants to come into the simulation and get trapped here. You know what I mean? The Pleiadians ain't physically coming here right now. And we'll get into that because Pleiadians are us, and so are the Arcturians, the Mantids, and all the different races of the whole universe. They're basically our cosmic brothers and sisters. And we'll get into that a little more. I think I rambled a little bit too much for my intro because I get going on a tangent. The information just comes in. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It just goes, right? So that's why I can't plan my shows, because I don't know where I'm going to say they or me, my higher self, wants to take it.
No, I appreciate what you shared, and yeah, and it's a great foundation. And one thing I'd like to ask before we really dive into everything is, like you mentioned, Qigong, and your bio has medical Qigong. Can you explain that for people who may not be familiar with that before jumping into all your modalities, so everybody can start understanding what you're sharing when you share it?
Yeah, for sure. I sell medical Qigong because we have energy centers in our body, right? And meridians. And traditional Chinese medicine, each meridian has different points. Our energy centers have points that work with different organs. So when we clear the energy out doing certain movements, like we can heal our lungs or keep all of our organs healthy. I call it like exercises that are like going to your own energy medicine cabinet instead of going to a pharmacist to get a pill. So it's kind of like medical, right? Like if I have lung problems, I'm going to focus on a certain movement that I do where you bring in energy into the lungs with visualizing color, exhale smoke as negative energy leaving. Then there's different points, acupressure. We got points on our body that we do in Qigong too that activates different parts of our body to let the chi energy flow, because a lot of times our energy's stuck. Most people's energy is stuck. We get up, have our coffee, rush to work, then we're taking all the emotion in all day too, and we're not working on ourselves. We're not doing the self-work. Our yin and yang will get out of balance, and that can cause someone to have a major disease, just that alone, right? So just by breathing, focusing on balance and the yin and yang energies, we put ourselves back into center, right? And then our chi's flowing properly, and it will flush out all negative energy. Because a lot of times you can get arthritis that can cause a lung problem because we got, just say you get a little bit of arthritis, but the energy's stuck here. It can be on a point to hit the secondary, like through our meridians, that could affect the lungs. So if we're doing work each day, clearing out our whole body, we're getting rid of stuck energy. Like you could have stuck energy and not know it. That could lead to a problem 5 years down the road. So each day doing the clearing, you're moving that negative energy out. Then if you have a specific problem that you know about, you can work on that too, just to get rid of it. Because what I found with Qigong, I learned it after my father was doing it and healing people. And I did it to heal my lungs. Then I started doing it for other people. The first 2 healing sessions I did, it healed them instantly. So I was kind of amazed. I'm like, okay, wow, this works. So I dived into it a lot more. Then I started doing the Qigong meditations. And the first one I did, I couldn't get through it. I became clairaudient the first time. And so that's when I started channeling and writing things down in my book and doing automatic writing. So it opens you up spiritually too, right? Because you're hitting all your energy centers. And Qigong is very important. I just kind of progressed it from there with my channelings that I've been writing down in my book. A lot of it stems from ancient Lemuria, from the information I'm gathering. So I'm trying to think of where I was going with that. Yeah, but like Qigong on its own is important, but I wanted to get away from the word Qigong because people think of the Shaolin monks and guys in robes doing big long forms like Tai Chi, which is still good, but it's a lot more basic than that. You don't have to learn all that stuff because Qigong translates just to energy work, right? So basically I come up with a system that anyone can learn and on their own in no time without having to learn anything fancy and long. But the principles of the healing is behind it, more powerful than the movements. The movements are just for visualization. And well, I'll go into that. Visualization is imagination, right? So if I'm imagine a column of light while I'm, say, breathing into my heart, I got a purple column of light. So I'm using my imagination. And imagination means magic nation. Like it's real, it's magic, right? That's why we were told our imaginary friends ain't real after we were kids. So because we're just reaching out to the ether and grabbing it, just because we can't see the energy around us, don't mean it's there, because we only perceive so much of the incoming light, right? So when I'm teaching people my modality, I want them to turn it into their own. So they're making it their own, right? Because it's more personal. And then you can start channeling messages from your own higher self to guide yourself within the healing. But there's key points in it that I'm teaching now. Like we got to work with the earth energy, because people are skipping earth energy. You know, most people, even in the spiritual disclosure community, they're saying, you know, I can't wait to get off this earth. I'm never coming back here. It's like they just want to escape and not come back. But their real goal is to be here to activate themselves, because the more we activate ourselves, everyone activates as a collective. Then we can start bringing down the simulation of the trap that we're in. I call it a hell realm as well. It's both. It it is kind of like the New Age used to call it a learning school. We had to come here to learn. It's partly true, and it's partly true that we're in a simulation, and it's partly true that we're in a hell realm. It's all three put together, really, right? But we don't have to focus it on the negative and trauma based and be victimized. We can say, you know, we came here. We're the strongest ones that come here. A lot of other beings didn't come here for this. We did. We decided to come here because we want to take this down before, I'll just say, like the AI starts affecting other universes as well. Basically, they want us to live in a simulation upon a simulation, you know, with the metaverse. Because a lot of us are waking up. If they can take us out of here and put us in AI, a digital realm, they can trap a bunch of different souls there again too, right? Keep us from escaping from here. But what I was shown is when we bring down the system, it's like we're just going to see a computer screen all around. It's just pixelate and just fall down. Then we're going to see what's really in base reality. Because it's kind of like we have the wool over our eyes right now, if that makes any sense to you.
It does. And I like how you said you want to teach your modality to where everybody makes it their own. Because when I learned Reiki, I was like not always able to retain what they were teaching, but I was able to like start to learn to manipulate other aspects, like I could call in lightning or an element,
Yeah.
and that was not mainstream Reiki. And so I was like, oh, I don't, am I doing this right? Or, am I mixing stuff that shouldn't be mixed? And so when you sit there and say, my goal is for you to make it your own, that makes me feel better about what I was doing and going,
Yeah.
okay, so I was doing the right thing and letting it naturally progress. And so thank you for teaching that, because I know a lot of people, when they go to study a modality, think I have to follow the script because this is how it was taught. So this is how it works. And they don't go with the flow.
No, that's true. And what happens is when you learn a modality script by script, like you say, then you call yourself a master, you're getting too ego based. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's hard to explain. I don't want to call anything down. Like Reiki and Qigong, I label them all the same. My old Qigong master says, you know, he likes Reiki, it's the very best. And same as Qigong. That's why I want to kind of progress from calling it that. We're in the new energies now, right? The new energies is for us to activate our own healing powers. The time of Reiki and the old Qigong, it's kind of stuck in the other energy, but it was brought here for that time. You know what I mean?
Right. It's
Back
kind of
10, 20 years
like,
ago.
I was going to say, it's kind of like I was taught by a teacher that said, ego, think of it as your earth guide only. It operates here on earth. and so it thrives here. It helps you survive here. Out there, not so useful. So you don't have to destroy it, but you have to realize it doesn't operate under those rules or experiences. So you have to either adapt or leave it behind and remember this is for here. And so it sounds like that's what you're wanting to do with the energies is these energies are designed to operate here, and as we go to the next level we have to adapt to that
Right.
level.
Yeah. Like Reiki and Qigong and all of them are very powerful, but they were brought to us by the higher good, the good guys, for that 3D energy that we were in to help us transcend and heal ourselves in those times. But now we have the new energy coming in, and what my guides are telling me is like we want to start channeling that energy to ourselves to become our own healers, right? Because we are our own masters, our own gurus. That's kind of the
Right.
guide for that. Like we want to be our own masters is basically what I'm saying. And the new energies that are coming in, it's like an astral out of body I had there a couple of weeks ago. I was seeing they showed it as as Earth. They want me to show it as what we think Earth is because I can't picture what it really looks like, right? Because I don't know. I didn't fly up and see it, but it was showing me there was orbs, giant orbs, bigger than our Earth realm, and it was pulsating new energy hitting us, and it's like breaking the cracks of the people can call it the firmament or whatever, right? But it's coming. I think there's cracks in the energy in this old 3D world, and it's coming through. And also, our sun is a portal, which actually has beings in it, sun cities. And that's where a lot of our Dreamtime societies are. But the central sun, Alcalon Pleiades, is hitting it. Actually, I've shown what that looked like. It was a really cool star, but it's pulsing our sun as well, and energy's coming through our sun and hitting us here. That's what the solar flares and EMPs we're getting. That's helping us activate as well. So we got to learn how to work with that, and that's what I've been channeling information of how to work with the sun energies. Like I said earlier, we can't forget the earth energy, right? Because we are here with Earth Mother as well, and the earth has energy to help us because earth wants to ascend with us, right? So a lot of people ignore the lower chakras. Like we got to harness the energy here. We can't just say we want to go somewhere else. Like, we have the power of, fire, metal. Metal is air and qigong, or both. You know what I mean? We have all the elements, water.
Right.
Different systems call them different, right? But there's 5 of each. And I work with the 5 elements. Each element corresponds with different sections of our bodies as well. There's a whole lot to it. I could talk forever just on the elements of qigong, but I do that in my course just so people can learn how to work with. Think of it as like airbender. You know what I mean? How they were working with the elements.
Right.
Because we are here, and like, our bodies were designed for this. You know how they said a bunch of different alien races donated their DNA? Like, I think our 23rd chromosome's Pleiadian, but we're kind of like the Trojan horse. So, like the Draconians, reptilians think they got us dumbed down to take over us. But once we can work together and start working with everything I'm talking about and activate ourselves, it's game over kind of for them. So it's almost like it was pre-planned to make us as the ultimate avatar. And we have portals in us, right? Like our spleen is the gateway to the astral world. You know what I mean? Like once our bodies have all the mechanics within itself to heal ourselves. I call it like activating our DNA from 2-strand to 12, 24, 48 and above. Because we were 12-strand back in Lemuria, right? One time before I think we got hit with the pulse of energy, and it dumbed us down. So we want to kind of go back to that.
Well, and what I find interesting is, as you were talking about, like, people forget about the lower chakras or not focus so much on those, that when I go and visit my chiropractor, he checks all the chakras up, but then he turns his hand like this and checks further out other chakras. And when I was talking with him, I was like, it's interesting that you're checking other chakras, and he goes, well, yeah, there's like a spiritual antenna up here, and he's like, I'm checking the alignment of it and how it's accessing the spiritual level chakras. And I was like, that got me curious. And so I went online and was looking up, like, chakras. We know of the body internal ones. And then I found this picture that had like 100 chakras alone just outside of the body. And I was like, wait, how come we're only taught there's the 7, 8 chakras in the body and that's it? It's like, why did we not learn about these hundreds of chakras out in our aura field or out of, side of us?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really focus on chakras per se, but what I do, I just call them energy centers, but it hits them all, right? Like
Right.
by the time I do the energy work through like the Qigong stuff I learned, we're still hitting the crown, third eye. We'll do the nose too, and you get your throat, heart, solar plexus, so. You end up hitting the front channels and the back channels, like through the movements I do, and some of the meditations as well. So I was about to stem off to somewhere else. And once in a while I'll get on a tangent. I'll go off on another topic, but that's okay. But
Well,
yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back to.
I was gonna say let's go into your technique and let's what
Okay,
it can be used for.
yeah, okay. Right before I get into this, we were talking about the ego before. We can't get rid of the ego. You know how a lot of New Age thinks ego is bad. The ego basically is a part of us. Like when we go to the other side, we are still kind of the same. That's kind of like our ego, right? And us on other dimensional levels is still kind of us. So like, if someone's like funny, we're still kind of like that in other places. This is another way to work with the ego. It's not like you have to drop it all together. It's just kind of realizing that we're not the limited mind body consciousness. More important, right? And just kind of saying that I am the I am, because we are co-creators, right? So what I do is part of my healing course too, so it kind of ties in. I'll just put my hand on my chest and say, who am I? And if you just sit here for a second, you'll feel a warm glow, because our soul is residing in behind here, right? Then I feel that warm glow. I know it's my soul trying to connect with me. Then I'm no longer who am I? It's like, what am I? So I'd say, what am I? And get that kind of feeling, right? So you know that we have the soul inside us that's operating this body. But we are the limited mind body consciousness, because we were brought up since a baby with a name and taught in school. So it's basically, we got to learn how to break all that, right, apart. I can get more into that another time. That gets a little more into the spiritual technical side of my healing, right? But it all ties together. So far as, well, you want to try something?
Sure.
Just rub your hands together. Now rub the ends of your fingernails together. These are the end of the meridians end here in our body. Now hold your hand out and open your fingers. You feeling any tingles?
Oh yeah.
Some people don't feel anything. It means their energy's low. But if you rub the hands together, you're activating your chi, right? Then you get into your fingernails, into the meridians. You can try it a couple times and open your hands up.
I feel
I
it
always get a
more
lot
in
of
this
tingling.
hand.
Yeah. So what we're doing, this is showing to people how you feel your chi energy, right? So the more you do do work, and I just work on myself for my own, I'm going to call it chi energy. It's our generational energy, universal energy that's in our body. I'll practice this more and more. Sometimes I'll just rub my hands after doing a session. And if it gets vibrating really good, I can touch myself like this and I can feel the energy go through my body. So the more you're building your chi energy up, and it's not just building your chi energy up, because some people's is low, it's got to be built up. But if you're really good functional, your yin and yang's balanced, your energy's running, the more you do, I call it, you're building up your guardian chi in behind the solar plexus. So the more work we do, the more reserve we have. So if we get run down, we have an excess of chi in us. Or if we want to heal someone else, it's not going to take our energy away because we have such an excess of guardian chi built in behind the solar plexus that we can use at all times. So that's why I find it important to do self-work every day, right? So you're constantly building that energy up. But a simple healing on someone, if you wanted to heal somebody personally that's around you, like not distant, you could just do some breathing exercises, get your chi going, do this, and you can even rub your fingernails together again. And if you're feeling real strong presence of your hand and they have a shoulder problem, then you can go put your hand on their shoulder, and you're sending that chi energy that you have built up for healing energy to go into their problem area. So a lot of times the people will feel it, right? The more you can emit that energy and you put your hand on them, like I had people go like, "Whoa, holy shit!" I can feel vibration. So that's just like an easy technique to heal somebody, and that's because we are all healers. It's just really that's all you have to learn. You know what I mean? But I always like try and take things a little further to make sure my body's operating properly through all the different systems, right? Because the more we work on ourselves, well, our chi energy is like our innate DNA smart body. Like our chi energy or DNA innate smart body, because it's with us through all incarnations. Every past life we had, we still have that same energy, or if we were living on other star systems or other dimensional selves. Because you know how they say DNA holds cellular memory, right?
Right.
So we bring that with us. That's why a lot of people have past lives trauma and stuff. So I always say to myself, I'm connecting with my innate DNA smart body. I think it's basically the same thing as our chi energy. And I'll say my chi generational energy, universal energies combined as one. I'll say stuff to myself like, because we command our innate DNA smart body. We talk to ourselves. We command. We don't need to be sick. We just talk to ourselves. I say I command, my DNA innate smart body to send, to make all my cells nice, shiny, and clear, and upgrade my DNA through every cell, tissue, fiber of my being. And just by saying that, you're automatically, you know what I mean, causing our cells to vibrate at a cellular level. And the more you do this stuff, I think it's going to help us activate more strands of DNA and extend our telomeres. It's a lot of different things you can talk about. Like I'll say to myself when I'm doing some work, like I'm going to connect with this energy so I can revert myself to my youthful, strong self, not my getting older self. You know what I mean? So you're basically reversing your aging. There's a
It
lot of things
almost
you can.
seems like you're going into the quantum, like the new theory of quantum healing, and everyone's using these techniques where really you're just going within and bringing the inner healing out and returning to healing yourself and not having someone else have to heal you.
Exactly. Yeah. And well, too, a quantum, I always picture like a quantum realm that's around us, right? Same as here too, like healing's the same for everything, whether it's a physical illness or a disease, or you know how people say they got etheric implants and chips,
Right.
or anti-attachment. But yet, I'm not the only one down for doing this. I think everyone should teach stuff, but I see courses on the internet where people are teaching chips and seal removal for over $1,000 to take a course to learn it. You know what I mean? And I've seen other qigong courses; they want over $1,000, so many hours, and get certified to be this and that, or entity attachment removals. It's all done the same way. Like if I'm clearing on me or somebody else, I try to feel for the blockage, because once I do my work, I can start sensing blockages on people. So if to say I'm doing it on myself, and I'm right here, I don't need to know what it is. It doesn't mean I have a lung problem or a chest problem because I felt something. There could be an etheric chip or an implant here, right? I can just say, I'm just pulling the energy out. I picture reaching in, pulling it out as smoke. It's, everything's energy at the smallest level of cells, you know what I mean? Whoever you want to look at it. If it's an etheric implant, it's going to remove because you're removing negative energy. Or if it's a physical illness, you're removing it. You felt the block, you're removing it. So it works the same for both. If you're clearing yourself every day, I have a technique for that too, that I kind of channeled it from the Pleiadians. I'll talk about that after. So yeah, you're moving physical illness, energy blockages, or chips, seals, implants, whatever you feel, right? You can even ask, I'm just going to scan for chips, implants, seals. And if as soon as you feel something, like you learn how to either, some people get tingling or warmth. Never second guess yourself. If you feel it, I just reach in, pull it out. So I picture a bubble around me, a quantum field, right? I'll put that up first. So when I take the energy and I put it outside of that quantum bubble, it can't get back in. I'm throwing it back out to the universe to be transformed to light. And there is a protection thing, a Pleiadian protection thing. I don't do it. I got to start doing this stuff every day. How you build this, I call it the Pleiadian cryogenic egg. Yeah, you can build every day, get rid of, because we got ourselves that things can be in us, then around us. You know what I mean? Whether it's entity attachment or something in the etheric realm here, we just want to move everything outside that quantum bubble, right? And it can't get back in. But maybe if our energy runs low at the end of the day or the next day, it might be able to get back in. So that's why I think every day, if you get up and do this one thing, you're going to protect yourself each day from different kind of attacks, right? Either attacks or the nanoparticles and the poisons in the air, you know what I mean, that we live in. That's a part of people getting sick too, right? So you want to clear that out as well.
Right. And also the fact that we live in communities, so you're constantly around people. So you're
Yeah.
getting cords and everything from everybody, whether you physically say hey and shake their hand or hug them, or you just pass by within a certain distance, you're connecting. And I think people just don't realize that. And so at the end of the day, they may have hundreds of thousands of cords attached, draining them because of the crowds that they went through. And
Mm-hmm.
they think, well, I didn't touch anyone, so I didn't make connection to anyone. I'm like, well, but your energies did.
Yeah. Same as what I use, like my healing stuff for. Well, I used to. I don't do it now because I got to start again. I'll do it for anything. You know how we eat meat. People say meat's bad, or they've been tortured, bad memories in the meat still from the way they've been brought up. I just do the same thing. I put my hand over. I just clear the energy and neutralize the energy. Right. It's like I'll use a analogy. I have a big piece of cake here. I'm going to move all the bad energy to the end of the cake and just cut that piece off and throw it away, then eat the rest of the cake, and it's fine.
I don't know. I'd rather have the whole cake.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what I mean, though, right?
Right.
And it goes back to imagination. Our imagination, we are magical beings. Like, it ain't just made up just because we can't see it. So basically, it's all about your own attention, right?
Right. And talking about the foods, it's like, I'll have a lot of people will go up to me and they'll say, well, you can't eat that. I'm like, is this from the egg people? Because, they're famous for saying you can't eat the white. No, you eat the white, you can't eat the yellow. No, don't eat the yellow, eat the. And I was like, they couldn't even decide what part of the egg to eat. And yet you're believing these people are experts. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So on the other side of this, too, like in out of body, our astral selves is basically more real than what we are here. If people have out of bodies, they'll know that because because we're going outside of this construct, so we're more real there than what we are here because we're perceiving more, right?
Right.
Sometimes when we're out of body, we can travel different realms, go into the past, other timelines, or just walk around your own house, walk through things. And here we can't, right? So we're more real on the other side.
Right.
And my out of body's got my out of body's got to be in. I had quite a bit of them in the last month. Like it was nightly there for a while. They'll go away, then they'll just come back. So I'll end up. Sometimes I'm in my room and I can't get out, and things are still solid. Maybe I'm still dense a little bit. My energy, right? and other times I can leave the house. And sometimes I just walk around in here, and sometimes I'll appear back in my hometown, or sometimes I'll appear like on Arcturus. I don't know really what it is, but yeah, I had one. I went out of body. I went back into sleep paralysis. Then I kind of like woke up on another planet, is what I perceive it as, and there was two Arcturian beings there, and they were like a mother-father figure. And they told me a bunch of stuff, but I do get mind wiped. Like that does happen to me. So I can only remember a little bit of this one. But they said that when we all start activating together and our DNA starts upgrading, we're going to know, because when we look at other people, we're going to see their eyes glow and turn different color. And that's how we're going to know that we're starting to activate our powers. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe I should keep an eye out for that for a while.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting. Like you point out that they say like the eyes are going to glow. That Hollywood created the Stargate series and they made the villains have the glowing eyes. So it's like I can't help wondering, was that how they got that show to pass through? Was to put that little bit of disinformation, fear, and of avoid the glowing eye people. They're the parasite,
Yeah.
evil entities.
Yeah. Yeah, they could. Yeah, that's a lot of these guys, you know, they leak all that stuff in movies anyway, just to, they know like how magic works, right? So they got to put the truth out a little bit, whether it's in movies or make us think it's fiction. Like the Marvel movies, that's kind of true. You know what I mean? And so with Star Wars, like the Orion Wars, and
Right.
George Lucas kind of put that stuff all together. So I'm just trying to think of where else to go with this on another level. Okay, I'm gonna go back to out of bodies. So okay, a few weeks ago I had one again, but I ended up back in. A lot of times I'll end up in sleep paralysis. I'm awake, but I can't move my body. And sometimes I try to get the wife to wake me up, and I'm hollering, but all I'm doing is grunting. Like sometimes she'll hear me in the other room and come in because I'm like going. Sometimes I'm saying help, like I want someone to snap me out of it, right? So anyway, I come out of my body. I wasn't in my room, but I seen like a record, like a record player, like a record, like a music
Right.
record. You know how they got all the rings in it. I started on the outer. I was going through the first dimension, but they were calling it frequencies. First frequency, second, third. I went through all 12 frequencies until I got to the center hole. Then when I got to the center of the hole, I shot up out of my body, and I looked at myself, and I was I could see through everything, see through my hands, like I was like just light. But it's weird because then I appeared back out to the center of the hole again. I was still a light body. I was just floating in the air. It was outside of the 12 dimensions, and Archangel Michael was there. He was saying at that realm we were basically Christ consciousness, kind of. And I don't know if people know what Christ consciousness is. I don't either. I think it's a little different than what we kind of are told. But we were kind of like the Christos body, like we were translucent and see-through. We had no more form of physicality of what we have in all 12 dimensions. So that was pretty neat. We were kind of in the void, but outside of the void, there's whole other realms and other multiverses, universes, that different beings and everything that we know nothing about. We're just in this one construct here, right? So once we get to the void, into the nothingness, there's more. And that ties into another out of body I had about 5 years ago. I went out. It was kind of like the center of the universe, the way I perceived it as. And I was talking to a being who was supposedly source creator. Could be a source creator of this realm, I don't know. But it was showing me outside the construct, there was grids. And each star was like a different place to have an experience life on. And basically, the message I got was, when we're not here no more and we want to go outside the 12 dimensions and have other experiences, we just focus on one spot on that grid, because we're in a light body, and we will instantly go to that realm and manifest the body at will to have an experience there. So it's kind of different than how we do it, because right now we're the only construct that we have to be born into to enter and die to exit. And it's not like that once we leave the 12 dimensions.
Right.
But we come here because we get bored in Infinity, so we kind of come to play this game.
Right. And I'm kind of curious. I was just thinking about something that popped in my head as we were talking about like the DNA strands and activations and everything. And I'm curious your opinion of, and I know, a lot of this is personal, but, and just looking for general, do you think it's better to activate one strand at a time, get used to it, or activate all the strands and get used to everything at once?
I'm not sure, but I think we're gonna end up like activating all 12 at once. I think that's how it's going to work. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. I was never told that because the stuff I talk about is only from my own experiences and my own messages and channelings. I try not to follow other people so I don't get mixed up on a belief system. You know what I mean? Some people will get a belief
Right.
system and believe this. I resonate with a lot of stuff. I'll just put it in the back of my head and let it simmer. So I try not to get. I don't want people to 100% believe me either. Like these are just information that I get downloaded.
Right.
But so I don't know. I just the way I perceive it is we're going to activate all 12 first before we go to 24 and 48 and so and so.
Yeah. I was just curious because I had never thought about it, and
No,
something
I
you
never
were
either.
saying brought it up, and I was like, that's an interesting thought. I wonder how many other people have thought about that or just blindly say, oh, well, this is going to happen. So this is how it's going to happen. And don't think, wait, are we going to take steps or is it going to be an all at once?
Yeah. And another thing to do too is anything I'm teaching, like as in my Qigong, I call it celestial Qigong or celestial energy work because energy work means Qigong, is do it in the sun. We should be doing a lot more work in the sun. Or doing more sun gazing or do our energy work out in the sun. Because we are getting hit with those energies from the central sun alone that's helping our DNA vibrate so we can upgrade. I think that's why they try to, it's cloudy all the time, cloud seeding, chemtrails, and they tell us to stay out of the sun. It's going to give skin cancer, put foot lotion on. I think they're doing as much as they can to keep us from being in that sun, right?
Right.
And a lot of times, when we get the solar flares, the spiritual community, they talk about all the symptoms they're getting, like, oh my God, the solar flare made me sick. Or, oh no, it's almost making it look like a bad thing. We're supposed to harness those energies that are coming in for those EMPs. I can't remember the information I got about that. I'm trying to figure out more. I'm going to have to do some channeling on that. Like, we're getting hit with that solar energy. What I was being shown, it was knocking out like a part of us outside of ourselves, of our dreamtime bodies. So something with the new light can fill us up in here and then bring this other overlay back in. Like, I don't know. I got to try to channel this. This was information I was picking up a few weeks ago, and I just kind of left it alone. But I thought it was very interesting, right?
Yeah. And I find it interesting you talk about sun gazing. I never thought about it, but when I was in elementary school, having to ride the bus to go to school, I would always sit towards the back and I would literally spend most of the time on the bus staring at the sun and watching the little disc go one
Oh yeah,
way and then start going another way and back and forth and just being like, wow. And then someone would say, oh, well, you're not supposed to stare at the sun. And I'm like, why? It never
yeah.
made sense to me why we're not supposed to stare at the sun.
This goes back into hiding it in movies. Like, how come Superman gets his power from the sun, right?
Right.
And science even proved that being in the sun helps us increase our testosterone as well. So one of the things I do when I'm doing some of the movements like I do, I'll bring energy into the solar plexus, up to the heart. This way our meridians run too, and out to the arms, back in front of the heart, to the throat, third eye, the crown. When I brought my hands up above my head, I'd make a diamond, and I'd let that sun energy fill up that diamond in my hand, right? Now I've got breathing exercises to go with it, but when I exhale, I'd bring that sun energy down through my body. And you can really feel that when you're out there doing it. Like your whole body, you just tell that that solar energy is doing something. You almost feel like the upgrade's happening, right? You know, sometimes we can't do it in the sun. We got to do it in the house or whatever. But if you ever find time, like that movement there, I call it the wheel of light. But you only got to do it 3 times, and it only takes a couple minutes, right? So I always do things 3 times, 6 or 9, right? Like Nikola Tesla. 3 times brings it into creation. Like if I'm going to do something to heal myself, 3 times will bring that into creation that I'm doing it. 6 times will solidify it, and 9 times seals its fate. So if you have time to do something 9 times, that kind of seals its fate that whatever you did, your attention was set on that, you're going to heal yourself. You know what I
when
mean?
you're saying do the 369, is that in one calendar day or one time period day, or can it be like spread out over multiple days?
Well, I'd say one day or all at once. It depends on how much time you got, right? Like if I'm just going to do that
Right.
real light, here's how long it takes. Okay, I did this. You do bend over and bring earth energy back up through your feet. And I'm just sitting down. I can't show you. That's one, right? So it's easy to do it 3 times. And if I have time, I'll just do it the whole 9 times. It's only going to take me 5 minutes, right? But sometimes I'm like, oh man, I want to do this, but I got to go to work. I'll do it 3 times. Then when I get a break, I'll do it. Okay, I got it 6 times. I solidified this energy. Then do it another 3 times later.
Okay,
It doesn't always
so
have to be that way, but you can. That's just more powerful. You don't have to do that, but it's just one way that you know that you're making what you're doing a lot more powerful. But everything works as well. Besides having to
right,
do that,
right, and
that's just something
that's
I
what I
find.
was meaning.
I
Yeah,
find powerful.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that's what I
good.
was meaning by doing the threes. Is if you did it three times a day, does that count as the 12, or as you just did three times? And so when you were saying, yeah, that's the 12, then that's like, okay, I get it. And that's what I was meaning is if you had time to do it that way. So
Yeah,
when you do 3 today, and if you do 3 tomorrow, you're doing 3 and 3. You're not doing 6.
yeah. It's just
Okay.
something to keep in mind. I do teach that because I find, well, personally for me, I just found that was really super powerful, right? But I don't do it for everything. I might just pick one thing to do that with, and still do other things normal. Like if I'm going to work the elements, I won't do it 369 unless I feel like doing it. I might just do one, like harness the element of fire, right?
Right.
Each,
And
and then our hands have the elements. We're made that way. Like I said, our bodies is the perfect. Our bodies is the perfect blueprint of our soul. You know what I mean? Our soul is already perfect on the other side. We're the blueprint of our soul. So once we
right.
realize that, and we have the mechanics within us, that's what I'm trying to teach people, that we have all that power within ourselves to do it, right? Like in our hands, like I do, like how's that go again? Earth, wood, fire, metal, water. So you can do hand mudras to work with the elements, right? If you want to. And I'll do an exercise I teach too where I'm closing, water. How do I go again? Water, metal, fire, wood, earth. And I'll clench my hands hard as I can and leave them to my side, but make sure my biceps or nothing's flexed. Then if you hold it for long as you can, clenched, and you try to open it, it's hard to open your hands. So I try to release all the energies from the elements out. It's hard to open it if you hold it for a long time. So now you're releasing all the energy, right? And it'll actually cure like stress and stuff. If you ever try it, just when you finally let go, it's just an easy way to harness the elements, right? But then I do
Right.
other ones. If you're gonna work with fire, I got the ones, but it works. However, I can't really explain it all right here, right? But there's movements, visualization. Again, you can even make your own if you want. But they all have points, like we're shooting energy out of our hands. Then when I'm learning how to teach people how to heal other people, there's exercises like we're shooting energy out of our palms of our hands, and you can visualize it going out through our realm, out to the middle of the universe, hitting a star somewhere, like laser beams. And you can do chants like Om. There's different chants too that we can work within our body. And the more we do these kind of things, I find that you can really start feeling your energy grow, right? So that way you can use it for healing someone in person or else across the world. Like I said, I progressed more from Qigong. Like I pull up hologram bodies of people if I do a distant healing. Because it's the same, through quantum entanglement, string theory or whatever. It's in quantum entanglement, that's weird now. Got scientists figured out that it's the yin and yang sign. When they put it under a microscope, it's the yin and yang. I don't know if the ancient Chinese knew that, but it's kind of interesting.
That is.
So I'll bring up yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious your opinion, an experience that I'm going through that's kind of started a few days ago. And it's bizarre because I can't like wrap my head around what's causing it. Is I'll go to sleep and I'm feeling totally fine. And then I'll wake up and my back feels like, dude, what did you do? And then I'll get up, I'll start walking around, and my back is fine for the rest of the day. It takes like an hour, hour and a half, and it's back to normal. And it's like nothing, I don't do anything to stress it. But then when I wake up the next day, same thing. And so it's like bizarre to me because I'm thinking if I pulled something in my back, it should be hurting all the time, not just when I wake up. And
Right.
why, when I lay down to go to sleep, is it not hurting? Only when I wake up is it hurting.
Yeah. Okay. You could be doing things in the astral that you don't know about too, right?
Right.
That could be causing that. Because I seen me like bring back memories of things going on in other realms where it caused my body to get sore here. I could try to do
Right.
like I could try to do like a session / channeling for you, see if I can't pick up why though. Sometime for you.
All right.
Sometime,
Yeah,
sometime I
because
got like sometime I got time. I'll just get my book out and I'll try to scan for energy to see if any information comes in. Because sometimes I'll pick that up if it's something to do with timelines or you know what I mean, or what you're doing in the astral Dreamtime societies. Because when Dreamtime we go to other places, right? Then we
right.
wake up here.
And
It's like we go to sleep there and wake up here kind of thing. And
right.
sometimes we can have ailments come through, right?
And I know
And
I do a lot of activity in the astral, so I even created a place, and I was surprised when I had a guest on that created an energy device that looks similar to the place I created to re-energize my body and like heal any wounds that I may have
right,
caught while being in the astral and then return. And so, yeah, you got me wondering now. It's like, did I rush through
yeah.
the healing process and didn't fully heal?
I can feel a blockage there. I can feel a blockage in your back. It's almost like it's on the right side of your spine.
Yes.
It's almost like it's stemming from a shoulder issue on your left side for some reason.
I do sleep on my left shoulder a lot.
It's the message I'm getting is I should be like pulling energy out of your left shoulder, then sending good energy in, then work on that spot of your back at the same time, pull the energy out and send good energy in. So that's something you can do on your own too, right? Just
Right.
to heal yourself, you can visualize it, or else you can actually use your own fingers. I like picturing light coming out of my fingers, hold like this. You're breaking up all the energy that's in there. Then reach in and just pull it out and throw it out. Then you could go to the spot on your back and do the same thing. You can do it physically because I find the more you visualize, the more it solidifies the energy, right? But you can also
Right.
do it you can do it as in a meditation and just pretend that, just picture that you're doing that as well. Because it
Or
could
you
be
can
coming
do
from
both.
here. I try not, yeah, do both. Like I try not to get too specific and say it's coming from here for sure. But where I did feel that connection between the two, I would just work on that anyway. You know what I mean? Because you don't want
Right.
to leave any stone unturned, right? Then I could
Right.
also try to do some channel and see if it is coming from any kind of astral activity. Like you could end up having a, just because it's energy, I don't know what it is. You could have a Netheric dagger put in here. Something, they could be doing that. Whatever's going on in another realm, they could be like, don't. And they're trying to maybe cause you to have back problems, but it's only causing you to have a little bit in the morning. So you're clearing that energy out of here. It's going to clear this.
Right. And I appreciate
I'm not
that.
saying it is an astral implant, but it don't matter. You don't need to know. Like we don't need to focus on the stuff. We just got to feel it, remove it.
Right.
I think we focus so much on it that sometimes it don't work because we're focused so much on, I got to see if I got any implants or seals. Like, no, we don't need to know. We just got to feel it as negative energy and remove it. So it's really, healing's way more simpler than what a lot of people make it out to be. Because, some of these courses are elaborate, like, and long. Like, I got one book my father had it, and I was reading it, and I had to put the book away. I was like, there's no way I'm going to read this great big book that thick and learn about healing. It just seemed like way too much, right?
Right. I agree. And we're getting close to the hour. I don't know if you have time for a
Okay.
few more questions or.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, for sure. Time goes by so fast. Like, I'm like, man, we didn't even touch on some of the woohoo stuff. We can do another show down the road too, right?
Well,
But
exactly.
there is one thing I want to say though. I just find this kind of an important message for anyone that comes on and watches the show, or on the replay, or now. Like, we're the alien disclosure movement. There is big chaos in the disclosure movement. You know what I mean? Everyone's fighting back, who's right, who's wrong, blah blah blah, galactic history. None of that matters. So we don't, like I said, we don't have saviors. Ain't coming to save us. They want us to do it. And the reason is, like, we can say we're star seeds, but technically we're not. Basically, the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, even reptiles, greys, a lot of these people are us. We are them. Because on the 12th dimensional construct of all these different realms where they reside, we still have higher selves out here as creator gods that we are. So think of our higher self, or the higher mind of our higher self. It goes a little further than that. Wanting to experience itself. You know how we are, the monads broke off and we were multidimensional, right? We're multidimensional beings.
Right.
So we have us here as boots on the ground here on Earth. Then you may have a you that's on Arcturus. And I may have a me that's on Arcturus, or so-and-so, and someone over here on the Pleiadians. So we're all broke off into different species. So our higher self, kind of think of it as like the mother or father. And, so we have a mother, father here, we have a sister, or we have a brother, right? So we have our mother, father out here. So that's why I call the different races our cosmic brothers and sisters, because basically they are our cosmic brothers and sisters. They all come the same source, right? We have a higher self that's split up into, there could be 1,000 of you, same as the next person down the road, 1,000 of them. So all of them out there are actually a part of us. We share part of the higher consciousness, right? So they're basically like our brothers and sisters. So when we do make contact, it's just like a big family reunion, right? We can all kind of come back to, I don't know where it goes after that, because I think things get more complicated than what we think. Like, us as being creator gods, I think we can break pieces of our souls off to have experiences, and
I agree. And I feel like a
as
lot
far
of
as I can go
that
with
is,
it right now. I don't know what's after that. Right? So, but
yeah.
that's the way I'm perceiving the information. Like, sometimes we have our guides, is actually our cosmic brothers and sisters. If I have a Pleiadian guide, it's probably, I can consider it like my brother, right? It could be a part of me, or is a part of me from the higher selves. I think that's what a lot of our guides are. That's why we're connecting to our inner knowing now. It ain't just like an alien species talking to us. And
Right.
they're basically saying, hurry the fuck up. They're saying, hurry the fuck up too. They want us to hurry up and start realizing this stuff, right? But
Right.
the disclosure, the bad side of it, they want us to think of orbs and UFOs and flying saucers. That's just to kind of keep us dumbed down to wait for them to come and save us, right?
Right. I agree. And to piggyback on what we were talking about, you had mentioned
Okay.
something, and Kitslael heard it and has a question around it. And she's asking, what's a Dreamtime society?
Oh, okay. Dreamtime societies is kind of where we go when we're sleeping. You ever have people a lot of times have the same dream? They'll go back to the same place because we got other aspects of ourselves that are existing in dreamtime societies. We got to learn how to connect with that a little more. I'm trying to figure that out still too. Like when we wake up in the morning, we are still connected to dreamtime societies. That's why we should start doing our meditations or whatever in the morning, right? Because we're just coming out of dreamtime societies where we're connected with all the different realms. That's why sometimes when I was doing readings for people, I'd get them to tell me their first hour of the morning summed up within 5 minutes. And that helps me connect with their dreamtime societies to make the connection with them, right? You know what I mean? Like we do. It's hard to really explain. I got to come up with a way to explain this a little better. But dreamtime societies is, I call it the realm where we connect with people before they were born here, because our souls will come and hang out at the Northern Lights, right? To wait for a baby to be born. Like we'll just kind of hang out, and that's connecting with sun energy as well. The sun portal. Like there's what I was seeing being shown was like in the sun. There's sun cities, portals, different types of beings that we can access ourselves. That's all a part of the Dreamtime realm as well.
All right, and
it's interesting. I got to pick up more about this, but I keep talking about Dreamtime societies a lot because it's kind of being pushed of what I'm being told to say about that, right? Like we're not out of body, we're not in the astral. We're actually a lot of okay. I get some information here. Okay, think of us, we're creators, right? And we create realms and timelines. We create our own dimensional spaces as well. Because you know how we can have different timelines that we can go on. So you could be creating your own dimensional spaces in Dreamtime and having experiences there. So you're accessing those Dreamtime societies when you're sleeping. And that's how people can have the same dreams, or sometimes my dimensional spaces, it could overlap with yours, and we could all kind of meet out here. We're all having those kind of experiences in Dreamtime societies. That's the best way I can explain it, I guess. I'm just hoping that sometime we can access the all as the more of the incoming light comes in. We're going to start awakening to this a lot more.
And I'm curious, with the government, not trying to get political here, but a lot of times when they start to reveal something, it's always, in my opinion, in a way that they use it to be like the magician, and they say, "Oh, look, we're disclosing the UFOs for you. Just don't look over here at what we're doing here, and
Yeah.
we'll, keep doing what we're doing. But you'll be happy because you're getting this."
No, you're right. And they want us. I see it happening here in my hometown and on social media. People political, like arguing with each other. We're supposed to be paying no attention to any of that, because what they're doing is they're trying to make us create possible timelines for them. Because we're the creator gods, not them, right? So the more they put out this stuff, we can follow they call it the Trump timeline or the other timeline. We're gonna create that, and I think that's why they're doing like the looking glass technology, timeline wars, and the stuff that's going on in the SSP. Like they're doing the work on that side too, right? Like I do have memories of that. I just didn't really get into that stuff tonight, but I'm thinking that we have base reality still is out there. We just can't access it unless we go through portals, in which a lot of the SSP are using these portals to bring back ancient technology relics to help bring down the simulation.
Right.
So
and
I think base reality it got so out of hand, it got locked, and we're a digital copy, and we've been here. I guess I don't think we've been here as long as what they say. I think it weren't that long ago that some of the stuff happened. And the reason why we don't see a lot of things, because when they did the digital copy, remnants of Tataria and Atlantis is still here in our realm.
right.
So I think, like I said, I think it's the pixelized, the computer screen. Our reality is going to come down. We're going to end up back at base reality where we see everything again. maybe come into higher knowing again too, because we are kind of dumbed down right now, but we're awakening from that, like I was talking about earlier. But
Right.
there's a lot, yeah, there's a lot going on. Like there's dimensional spaces that have control rooms where these evil beings are trying to help run the simulation, and some of these black op programs are taking them out and stuff like that. Like the political stuff, yeah, they're trying to make us create timelines for them, I believe. And there is no good and bad. Like if it's gonna be, I don't want to talk about stuff on YouTube too much about political. Don't know if they ban it or not. But you got this side, you got that side. People's for this side or
Right.
this side.
Yeah, and
Basically, the way I see it is none are good. It's kind of like it's the cabal fighting with the Satanists for control. But they'll
right.
play the good guy and the bad, and they'll play good guy and bad guy.
Right. And
And we don't have
one
to
of the
worry about that.
things,
We're supposed to activate ourselves, like I talked about earlier, not focus about that, and bring down the system for good, right? Like do the
right.
work ourselves. It's hard though, you know what I mean? It's hard to get people on the same kind of wavelengths too, because we still live in a society where your neighbor would rather see you starve and be homeless than give you $5. You know what I mean? Too many people are so much service to self instead of service to others. We're not working together as a community. We're in disunity. But I think that's going to change really quickly. I think the new energies is just kind of they can't. What was it like the Pleiadians were telling me? It's like it's to the point now where the rest of the universe can't wait no more. This was supposed to happen 10 years ago, and it never. Like we were just too controlled,
right.
so it kind of
And
has to happen. Yeah,
yeah, and I have to admit, I've kind of noticed a change in myself seeing the simulation. And one aspect of that is the Matrix movies, the original
yeah,
trilogy. It's like I got caught
yeah,
up in that and was like, yeah, he's the one. Yeah, I'd like to be like him, able to do this, this, and this. And
yeah,
then I saw the latest movie where it's like he surrendered, went back in, and a new one appeared to complete the story. And then I thought about it and I was like, what if we got rid of the duality of it? And I realized Neo in the original trilogy wasn't the true one. It was everybody on the ships with him, everybody in the space working together to bring free everyone. I mean, it was everybody was the one. They all were going and saving people and awakening people and sharing. And it wasn't one person doing
yeah.
everything. And so it's like I found it interesting how all of a suddenly going back and now I'm looking at the movie and going, this has a whole new aspect to it now because I no longer
Yeah.
see the one as one individual. I see the one as everybody working as a unit.
That's no, that's true. That's what that's what we got to do, really. And we're just, if we even here doesn't even have to be bad, even if it's a simulation per se. It's basically, everyone's saying they want to leave. Like we could basically create a heaven on earth ourselves. You know what I mean? Instead of just playing upon the fear and trauma.
Right. And I'm wondering too is, how they're saying like Hollywood is using movies to kind of soft disclose some stuff to make us aware. If
Mhm.
that's why they did the last movie, like of The Matrix, because it worked so well to wake up people to question things that they had
Yeah,
him forget who he was and try and suppress who he was. And she had to
yeah,
wake up
yeah,
to go and pull him out. And then was like, "Hey, you thought you had it bad with him. Now you got to deal with me." And he was like, "Oh, you're in trouble now because you got her." And
yeah.
so it makes me like kind of look and go, "Did they realize that people stopped? understanding what the movie was and made the other movie to kind of try and reawaken people to go, hey, look, we're not done yet. You guys have
Yeah, and it makes
forgotten.
sense too. Because we forgot who we are. You know what I mean? For
Right.
millennia, we forgot who we are. At the same time, too,
And
like there was like I said, this is a hell realm simulation and a learning school all at once, right? Because people did get caught into the karma trap, recycled over and over. And I think a lot of us that are here in the awakening process, or consider ourselves as star seeds, light workers or whatever. I was kind of shown it that we found the back door of incarnation, so we weren't going through that process. But some of us chose to come here in the past before too, right? Or we can actually, it's hard because time ain't linear. We can leave this world as pass away, leave here, then decide to incarnate in the past. That's kind of crazy, but because everything's running beside each other as timelines, not really past or future, right?
right.
That's kind of
It's
weird. That kind of boggles my mind a little bit. But because yeah, so we like yeah, some of us weren't in the karma trap. We call it like the back door of incarnation. So we started sneaking in the cracks to get here, right? That's
right.
how the mass inflection of starseed and light workers come here. But what I perceived through one of my astral travels when I was on the moon is the ascension. They called it the galactic ascension machine. That is long gone. So there's no more lords of karma. Like we're not getting tricked and recycled over and over anymore. And what's strange about this, when I seen that machine on the moon, it had the Apple signature on it from the Apple computer. But I
Oh,
had an
that's
experience on the moon. On the backside of the moon, it was full of vegetation. Like I was in the woods where there was souls that left Earth and were there wandering around. Kind of weird. I had a lot of, but yeah, we can do another show where I can talk most about the astral travel experiences. Like I had
yeah.
one where I appeared. I was on an Anunnaki ship one night, and they told me a bunch of things. They actually showed me a possible timeline of asteroids hitting Earth, but they said that we were going to be okay. That timeline weren't going to happen, but they were showing me it. And also, I'm being shown this UFO stuff. I think someone made a comment about UFOs. I think don't listen to, don't tell no one, don't believe me. I can only talk about how I perceive things and what I'm being told. That when we see these orbs and or flying discs, they're not really the extraterrestrials or interdimensionals or extra dimensional. There's a few that's kind of coming from here, because when we see other dimensional or other frequency world ships that come here, I can't even explain it because I've seen them many times when I don't know if it's astral travel, out of body, or different timelines. I'm not sure, but if I'm physically there looking up in the sky, like I feel as real as I am here talking to you, and I see these things in the sky, the ships, and I can't explain it to you because I can't. It's outside of our three-dimensional capacity of thought to try to explain what these things look like. So when we see these things, they're just moving, turning shapes, different like, that we're not used to seeing. That's going to be the real ones. Is when we see that.
Right. I agree. And Kids Like Hell is asking, she's saying, why is there a rush? And I'm
A rush.
thinking she might be referring to, we've gone through all of these lives and everything and decades of nothing, and now all of a sudden everybody's wanting it right now, the disclosure and everything. That may be what she's referring to, is everybody all of a sudden is saying, I want disclosure now. I want to understand this
Yeah.
now.
Okay. If that's what she means, I don't know what she meant. But what you're saying is true. Like, what the thing is I think we're all sick of it. You know what I mean? Because we're living in a fake life. Like, we gotta get up and pay our bills to the government, buy food, pay our taxes. We don't do art or things that we are meant to do and to enjoy because we're too busy trying to provide food on the table. I mean, all the system's corrupt, and the money in the bank, and I just think on a higher soul level, like it's coming to us that we don't want to do this anymore. We want to come to our true selves and real freedom, right? Like I call real freedom ain't freedom fighting against the government. It's true freedom comes from escaping the tyranny of the finite mind.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
We're infinite beings, but our minds are sometimes finite, right, to what's going on around us.
right. And she responded, she said,
Okay.
"Why is there a rush?" He said they can't wait any longer.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought she might have been talking about that. Okay, so like I say, I don't know. I can only talk about information how I gathered it. I don't want no one to believe me because I could be totally wrong. But when I was channeling the information for my healing in 2011, some of the channelings weren't even for my healing. I was just channeling stuff that was meant for now times, like human churning into Borg. If you go to my YouTube, Jay Skyrunner on YouTube, I got my 2011 channelings. I just read it from my book and I put it up there for people that want to see it because I can't remember it all right now. But basically, we were going through that. You know how they're trying to almost like cyborgs turn us into cyborgs, right?
Right.
Like Elon Musk and all that stuff. In the AI takeover, I don't know who the AI gods are. Galactic history. I don't like I say I don't really have a belief system on that. But just think of it as like whoever the rulers, the evil ones. They already on other realms. They already took over, destroyed other realms outside of our 12th dimensional construct. And for some reason, our realm of Earth, either here a simulation of the base reality, is very important. And if we have complete AI take over here, it's affecting other realms. You know what I mean? They don't want this to bleed through where they can make digital copies of fifth dimension, sixth dimension, or seventh dimension because the AI is quite powerful, right?
Right.
And plus, like, with us having the energy of nuclear bombs, we already ripped time space holes and killed other entities in other dimensions, right? So they don't want all that evil stuff to come through. Thinking about Terminator, what if AI took over like Skynet and we're releasing nukes everywhere? That's going to fuck up a lot of different timelines and beings, right?
Oh yeah.
So they're kind of like we can't wait anymore. We got to wake these people up so they can activate and become what they really are.
Yeah, and I'm curious
Because
as
really,
we're
they
talking.
yeah
Yeah, and if we're talking about timelines. Do you, in your experience, find time isn't linear like we've been taught, and it's more like a loop, and that's how we can have present, past, and the current moment in one moment because it's more
yeah
like a loop than this straight line?
yeah I do. I think that's sometimes why we have deja vu because we already did it before, right? I think we're multidimensional and we operate on a lot of different levels, right? So it's kind of weird. Like I was talking on Rob's show, like, do we even know if we're in the same reality we were in 10 years ago?
I
Like
know.
we have the Mandela effect, right? Like, so what if, just say, people will get in a car accident or something happen, and like, oh man, I don't know how I survived that. What if they died in that car accident, and there's another timeline out there where they're dead to their family, and that timeline's going on, but you had agreement with your higher self that you wanted to continue living out your life as that never happened. So you just split into another timeline as if you just got in a car accident, you were going to walk away and nothing happened. You wouldn't know the difference of it, right? But then things feel different, and it's kind of like you're having your own personal Mandela effects. The things are just, you know what I mean? Like, ain't quite right. So it's just
Right.
a
Like,
thought. Like, it's kind of a freaky thought. Like, that could be happening all around. You know what I mean? Each person could be breaking off different timelines, and I wouldn't know, right? Because maybe a friend of mine that got killed one time is still living their life like normal and thinking nothing ever happened, but they just notice a slight change. I think it just whatever we decided we want to do, right?
right. And
So it's
one of
like,
the ones that I find the most interesting is the sun yellow? Is it white? Is it orange? What color is the sun? Because everybody seems to see it differently, but yet we
yeah,
suppose
I know.
only have one sun.
Well, when I was a kid, the sun and moon were yellow. Did you notice that? Like when you were younger?
Yeah, I remember it being yellow, and they would say that's the harvest moon. And so I don't
But
know
I
if I
remember the sun
remember
being
it
yellow.
always, but the sun, yes, I remember the sun being yellow.
But now, whenever I look at the sun or moon, it's white. You notice that?
Yeah,
Like we have a white sun now?
I know, and that's where I wonder, is it Mandela effect, or has the sun adapted to us changing and evolving?
Well, I don't know. Like I was talking earlier, how like out the central sun Elsalone is sending energy to our sun as a portal, and that's sending us to new energies. Maybe the sun is changing because it's accessing these new energies that it's bringing into our realm. Could be, you know what I mean? I don't know, but it could be a possibility.
Right. I've been wondering, is if we, as we evolve, like the Earth is seeming different, like the colors of the sky and the colors of the ground seems to be different a little bit, and I wonder if it's because we have evolved and started the ascension that we're seeing things differently now, and
It
that's
could
why
be,
the
yeah.
sun.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, because we would be starting to see things different, I guess. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Also, to
like
talk about Nibiru,
Nibiru
there's
here.
all kinds of weird things. But there's weird things going on all over. I don't know, but when I had astral travel, when I fell asleep on the couch at my sister's house, I get up and I knew it was out of body, and I'm like, I'm gonna walk outside just to see what it looks like. So I go outside of her house, and I look up in the sky, and it was almost like on the fourth dimensional lower astral realm, Nibiru is already here. So I don't think it's going to physically come here. I think it's there, but somehow they're going to access portals to come here. So I think everything's portals, right? Like stars are portals. I think we are stars. I think some of the. Oh yeah, I'll have to get into another time. I had another out of body where how we can meet all of our other past life selves. That soul shard that broke off to have their own souls. I think a lot of them are our guides. So I'm gonna try to channel some information on this because I've been picking up a lot of crazy stuff. I just got to put it together so I can try to
Right.
talk about
Yeah.
it more. Like different than stuff I've been talking about on the last few podcasts with people.
Yeah.
It's all
I'd love
plausible
to have
stuff.
you
Like I said,
back
I don't know if
on.
it's true. I don't want no one to believe it. It's just information that seems like I am being told. And it's just
Yeah.
kind of getting crazier stuff, right?
I agree, and I'd love to have you back on to keep going and sharing more. Because yeah, I love when I get guests on, and I feel like even though we're running out of time, it's like we barely hit the tip of the iceberg, and I feel like there's so much more underneath that it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
really want to get this guest back on, but I also like to space it out so everyone doesn't get over inundated with the same person over and over and going,
No, I
is this
know.
the
Yeah.
only source?
I think
So,
my main message to people, like I always say, is don't have gurus. You can resonate with people, but just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like some people believe someone so much that when someone new comes out, they hate that person. This person's right. That person's wrong. Or I know this. We don't know our galactic history. We don't know. People know pieces of parts. We're getting information and putting it all together, but we don't know 100%, right?
right,
And we don't know 100% what we don't know 100% what's coming either. I think it's the best off not to have gurus and masters. Like my whole thing about working on ourselves to activate ourselves. That's what like the angels, the higher guide, the higher selves of us, our cosmic brothers sisters want us to do. That's the main goal. Because if we focus so much on the negative or past life stuff, we're not working on us in the here and now. Because basically, what was the message I got? I said, why? Yeah, like it was basically, why are we worrying about what we did in the past lives? We should be worried about what we're doing now. You know what I mean? Just
right,
forget all that stuff and only work on the I am presence kind of stuff. Like I don't mind talking about theories about stuff that how we're talking now. Like if we ever talk political or alien races, because they're all just theories. We don't know 100%, right? But I think the
right,
more that
very,
we work on ourselves and because doing energy work, we're going to open up the own portals within ourselves because our body has portals that we can access. we'll be able to start doing our own channeling for ourselves, connecting with our higher selves and our own guides. Because everything's a little different for each person, right? You want to pick up the energy for yourself.
Right.
I find a lot of people are spending too much time on getting readings from people. We should be doing it for ourselves, not having to get psychic readings.
Well, I think that's because
Because
we've been conditioned. If I'm saying it to myself, that's me just saying what I want to hear. But if somebody else that doesn't know says this, oh, there's more and so we've been kind of trained not to validate our
yeah,
own thinking.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Like people doing readings, I got friends that do it, and it's just I kind of got out of doing it. Like I did some mini readings, you can find them. Like I did one for James Rink, some people, and it blew a lot of people away because I was picking up stuff they never told anyone about, right? But I'll pick up on, I will pick, even though I said it don't matter now, but I will pick up on past life stuff that could be important for now, or off-world incarnations that has important messages for what the person needs now. Just all depends, right? I just do automatic writing and whatever comes in. But I quit doing them because a lot of people want you to tell them things about themselves that they already know. Hey, you know what I mean? Or when am
Right.
I going to get a new car? When am I going to get love? Like that don't really work, right? Because I had a person say, "Well, you didn't tell me anything about myself that I already knew. They want me to validate myself by telling them something about themselves they already knew." And I said, "Well, why don't you just tell me? The path of least resistance." Because you know what I mean? It turns psychic people into a guessing game. People want them to tell things about themselves that they already know. I don't know why. But there is good psychics out there, and I got friends that do it, so I'm not calling it down. I personally myself, I had to get away from it because that's what people want. They want to know when they're
Right.
getting that new job and stuff. And if I pick up that they were like a scientist and an architect in Atlantis, they don't want to hear that. But it could be an important message that they need to hear, right?
Right. And I
So
think a lot of people
I kind of
too,
stepped back.
yeah, which is a good thing because I think some people tend to give their power away to the mediums and say, oh, the medium said this, and so I gotta do this, and if I don't do this, this won't happen, and so then I gotta go back to them and figure out, since I messed that up, how do I fix it and get it? And it's like they really create a trap for themselves in thinking they're the only true way to find what they're looking for, and that's not what the job of the medium is, in my opinion. And so people,
Yeah,
yeah, fall in that trap of I got to do what the medium says so that I get what I want.
yeah. So there's a lot of things we do too. Like I teach in my course. I threw little pieces in. It's not really part of my course, but it's things I'll talk about when I get more of my videos done for it. It's like anything can be used for anything with energy work. Like a lot of people will do something stupid, right? Oh,
Right.
why'd I do that? You're acting before you think, right? Like road rage, or you could get in a fight at work, or maybe you went out on a drunken bender again when you said you weren't going to do that anymore. You can always take those situations before it happened and look at yourself as if you are having a life review. You already left here and you're having a 360 panoramic view. I picture of looking at your life review. Now, picture you're watching yourself do that, right? You look how stupid you are. You'll be saying, to yourself, "Oh man, I can't believe I acted like that." So I just try to get those thoughts. Then it almost stops you from doing that, right?
Right.
Because sometimes we just act without impulse because we're just going on autopilot, limited mind body consciousness, right? So the more we keep thoughts about that, the more we're going to connect with ourselves on a soul level, right? There's different little things that you can do like that. Like just like
Right.
we were talking on when I was talking on Don's show. If you talk like when you're sitting there and you're hearing you talk to yourself all day, right? Like who's doing the talking and who's doing the listening? Like is it even us? It's kind of crazy, ain't it?
It is. And
Like,
I actually had a moment where I had an experience where this loud booming voice was asking me questions, and I never saw who the voice belonged to. And I started to think now, like several years later, going, I wonder if it was my future self or like me being wise, future wise, saying to myself, what are you doing? You know who you are,
Yeah.
and knew the questions to get me to go into the train of thought, into the thought process, and come to the answer a lot faster. And so, yeah, it's like you were saying, when we talk to our guides, are we talking to family or are we talking to ourselves in a way that our mind will sit there and go, okay, yeah, this person gave me this insight, and yeah, I need to do,
Mm.
they're right. Versus if we were to say to ourselves, oh, I talked to him, my inner voice said this, and they're like, are you sure you trust your inner voice? Well, I don't know. It has led me astray a few times. And so it's like we're conditioned
Yeah.
to not want to trust our intuition because people are like, yeah, you really messed up the last time you trusted your intuition. You sure you want to do that
Mm.
again? And it's like, and in reality is that
Good
mistake
point.
that was made was a great learning point, and that's probably why your
Yeah.
intuition did that, and it wasn't a mistake.
No, it wasn't. And you know what? I just picked up on this while you're saying that. It's like you said, you do something and you end up doing it again. You're like, why did I do that again? Or I'm back into the situation. It's kind of like your spirit or whatever knows. It says, oh, you didn't fucking learn the first time? Here you go again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe you'll learn this time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That
yeah,
happened to me a lot. I went through like 5 dark nights of the soul. Like, I'm, I'm into like, I have been having out of bodies all my life and into the healing stuff like we talk about all day, but it's not like I think I'm some spiritual person. I battled alcoholism and 5 dark nights of the soul, suicide, depression, thoughts, and because we all went through that in the last, what I mean, since 2012. I think a lot of people went through that, not just me. Everyone kind, in a grand scale, we kind of went through that process of whatever that was to try to get us to. Because everyone here who's in your chat, we're all in the process of wanting to learn and ascend and ascend the frequencies. You know what I mean? We're all kind of in it together. But I think we all
yeah,
went through that hard time, right?
I agree, and I like how you say you had 5 dark nights. I don't like that for
Yeah.
you, to be honest. It's like I don't wish that on anybody, but what I'm meaning when I say I
Yeah.
like the fact you had 5 is it breaks the illusion of you're only supposed to have one dark night, and that's the reset for everything. That you can have multiple,
Yeah.
and it's not a sign that you're falling behind.
Yeah. Things are going better now. Like, I'm doing a lot more stuff that I used to like to do. Like, I'm back into going to the gym all the time, doing martial arts, playing music. Because every time that's all help. That's just as important as doing any kind of healing work, right? The more we do stuff that we enjoy, we're taking ourselves outside ourselves. So that's actually healing as well.
Right. Well, I'd like
Like
to continue.
most of us work shitty jobs. So if we all should try to find stuff that we like and focus on that instead of just our job, right?
Right, I agree, and I'd like to keep going, but we're actually over an hour and a
Oh,
half, and so
oh,
I think.
yeah. Sorry, I keep you going. I
Oh
just
no,
nice sitting back and chatting, I guess.
yeah, and I'm enjoying the conversation and the information that's coming through. I think it's very important, but I feel like for me, my personal feeling is when I hit that hour and a half mark to the 2 hour mark, a lot of people are getting overwhelmed, and so I'm like, yeah, we can have another episode. This isn't a
Oh yeah, we can.
one time shot, and so we got to cram everything in and get them now. It's like we can space it out some.
Yeah, no,
So
I just always I get rambling sometimes because it's almost like I keep getting guided to talk about certain things will come in my head and stop me what I'm doing because oh no, I got to say this right now. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just got to quiet my mind a little bit more. I'll get going on
oh,
tangents, right?
it happens to me. I'll be like going, where did that question come from? That wasn't. and even in my thoughts.
Or maybe I had too
And
much
so
coffee.
I'm in the same way, and so
Yeah.
I appreciate you. And
No, we'll talk on Facebook, and we'll talk on Facebook and decide when to do it again, and we'll pick a topic and go completely different next time and on some things.
absolutely. And so I want to just thank you again for coming on and spending this evening with us, and thank you to everyone in the chat room. And make sure, this is something new for me. I got to get used to this. Is make sure when you watch the episodes, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, click the like button. It does actually help with the algorithms and helps keeps our shows going. So I'm not used to asking for help with that, but it's something I got to get used to. So please help us out by just simply clicking the like button. And thank you all for joining us tonight. And make it a blessed day, and find your inner voice and trust it, and find what resonates with you. And with that, I'm going to say good night, everyone.
See you, everybody. Peace out.